Here we go.
Marriage. Don't do it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna make a video because I've recently done a video on, I wanted to break down 10 of the things that helped me pull myself out of that addiction, that addict behavior, the depressive mindset that freaking destroyed my life. And I also did one for my wife because it was our anniversary, and I just wanted to publicly, profess my love to her because she's a wonderful woman. She's a really good woman. She's had my back from the start. It's funny. I also recently did a video talking about kind of manifesting, how I've manifested my own reality, and how it was something that I pondered a lot when I was in prison. And the crazy thing about it is, when I met my wife, I had recently gotten out of prison. Couldn't have been a few months, 6 to 8 months. And I was living with my kid's mom, my two first children, Miles and Cicely. They're great kids. And I had no job at the time. I didn't even have a license, no car, no job. I was dabbling in stuff here and there. I was trying to get into web design and stuff. And but I had nothing. And I lived with my ex. I was basically just watching the kids, while I kind of tried to work out what the hell I was going to do, and try to find something to do that wasn't going to make me miserable. You should get a mug with Manic Asylum on it, right? I think they'd sell. I only got 75 subscribers right now. Maybe one person will buy one. They say, when you're coming out of an addiction and coming out of things like that, it's a bad idea to jump into a relationship. And I can say that that's very true, because if you get into a relationship and it goes south, so will you, because you're very vulnerable, you're very fragile. You got to be real careful of that, because it can lead to disaster. It's a very touchy thing to do, start new relationships. I got really lucky. A good woman. It's not to say we didn't end up having trouble ourselves, because I did end up relapsing while I was with her, and it was pretty bad. It was probably some of my darkest days. And I can recall being an addict for a long time. If anybody tells you that being a drug addict and doing drugs consistently, it doesn't change your brain chemistry and the way you think and the way you perceive reality, they're lying, because it completely alters your state of mind. I'm not just talking about while you're on them. Doing drugs for, a lot of drugs for a long amount of time, it can literally change your chemistry in your brain, and it can make you a completely different person. And that's precisely what happened to me. That's why it's kind of like a full circle thing with addiction, because you're a drug addict, you're doing drugs, despicable behavior. You can go to get off of that. You can have the will and the want to get off of drugs, but the guilt from the things that you've done in the past will beat you down so much. Especially if you're a very empathetic person and you really are critical of yourself. It really alters your mind, and it really keeps you in that loop where it's really hard to get out of. A lot of people don't understand addiction because they haven't been through it. It's fine, whatever. Being with my wife, we've been married for 4 years, and I believe 6 years we've been together total. And we had a kid. So now I have 3 biological kids and 4 step kids. She's got twin girls and 2 boys. So we have 7 kids total, and a dog. We got a lot on our plate, but that obviously segues me into how important it is to be in a healthy relationship. And I feel like it's necessary to talk about that, because I've seen a lot of very unhealthy relationships, and I've seen a lot of people crash and burn because of them. Actually, I'm very familiar with this because I've seen some people very close to me. I don't want to go into okay, so I've seen this happen very close to me, and it's a very ugly sight, and I've been through it as well. And just to make a disclaimer on the video, I'm not suggesting that if two people are in a relationship and it's a bad relationship, that one person or the other is bad, because often it's a two-way road. All right. If you're in a relationship and it's going downhill and it's not going good, and one person wants to say, well, it's all you, if you would just this and that. No, it's a two-way street. First of all, if you recognize the relationship's bad, if you're not doing something to either fix it or get out of it, you are complicit into the fuckery of the relationship. Bottom line. Complain about somebody else all you want to, but if you're making absolutely no effort to go at least one of the two ends of the spectrum of repairing or vacating the relationship, you're absolutely complicit in the downfall of the relationship. So people feed off each other. There's a reason why social media has become so successful. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to recognize it or not, people feed each other, people feed off of one another, people they bounce off people need each other. We need that social. There's a reason why solitary confinement in prison is such a punishment. When you're in prison, you're very likely around a whole bunch of people that you don't really fucking like. Oftentimes people that you despise, and they punish you by taking you away from those people that you really don't like and putting you in a cell by yourself. And it's punishment. It's also punishment because they take away all your canteen and stuff like that. But it's the solitary confinement away from people and humanity is punishment, man. It sucks. It hurts. It's not too long before you can't wait to get back out to those people you probably don't fucking like anyways. It's because we need people. We need to talk to each other. We need to communicate with one another. We need to feed off of each other. Toxic people can really, as much as you might think, they're just shitty people and whatever, screw them. As much as you think that, they have an effect on you. They do. Whether you recognize it or not, people have an effect on you. So I think one of the main points of this video is to be very careful who you spend your time around, who you give your time to, your attention to. I know from experience it makes a huge fucking difference. You know, I was lucky enough to get a really good, supportive wife. She's a good woman. She's loyal. She's kind, loving, empathetic, and very, very understanding. Does her best to understand what I went through while I was going through it, and understood that it was a really difficult experience. More importantly, understood that, you know, I was susceptible to relapse, and in having a good woman by my side certainly saved my life. And if I didn't have my wife, you know, I'd like to think I would have come out of it just as strong and just as good. But I cannot deny how much of a difference she made in my life, and how much she probably boosted me up to help me get through the things that I went through. If you're in a shitty relationship, it's up to you, man. It's up to you to either fix it or get the hell out. I've seen people's lives ruined from bad relationships. I mean, it's that serious. Be careful of the people that you give your time to. But, you know, as I've stated in previous videos, you know, my intent, try to kind of expand on my experiences, hopefully maybe reach a couple people, to help a couple people get through rough times. I really hope I'm able to do that for some people. I've been all the way through it and back and through it again and back. Thank y'all for watching. Hit the like and subscribe if you're new to my videos. I will be moving forward, you know, trying to create some decent content and trying some new stuff, and, you know, I hope y'all like it. So thank you for your time, y'all.